always worked as a mechanical engineer. I've been in Ulster University now since 1995. Been course director for the mechanical engineering discipline for many years, before currently then being the associate head of school. I'm the Athena Swan champion in the school as well. I'm going to talk a little bit about that during the presentation. And again, if you have any questions about it, please do let me know either at the end of the webinar or through Johnny there as well. So why engineering, and what is our school about? I have a video here which was prepared during January and February just recently, and I'm hoping that that's going to work now. So let's see if the technology takes us there. So that's just a very quick video, as I said to you there, shot during January and February of life in our school. You've had an example there of some first year students, some second year students, some final year students, some MN students as well. And then I'm going to use the rest of the presentation just really to talk about what engineering is like as a discipline, what the types of engineering courses that we offer in our school, and the sorts of activities that you would be participating in should you come to our school then to study engineering. So you'll see just on the top of the screen, just let me see if hopefully this will work here. You'll see that there are a number here of different, I suppose we would call them skills and attributes that typically engineers would have. So engineers tend to be practical people. We tend to like the technology and see what the technology can do and see what problems it can solve. We tend to be creative people. We're team-minded, and that's something that in our School of Engineering that we're very focused on, and we do give students lots of opportunities to develop those team skills. Engineers like to design things, we like to make things, we're typical problem solvers, and those, if you think that you have those attributes, or you think that you have what would make would enable you to build on those attributes, I guess, then we would hope that you would become and certainly think about being one of our engineers in the future. So what is it that makes an engineer tick? You see that there on the left hand side, it's about really using the science and technology, the maths, the engineering, the design, all of that, and put all of those together and use creativity then and teamwork and innovation to find simple solutions that are cost effective and can solve the difficult problems. And my goodness, you just have to really look around and see what difficult problems exist in the world right now. And it's great to see engineers making their contribution, you know, as part of the solutions there. So engineering will enable you to develop lots of transferable skills. Engineers do work in teams alongside all other professionals. So, and you'll see this on the news currently, even just in the current pandemic crisis, you'll see engineers working with scientists, you'll see engineers working with doctors, clinicians, nurses, business people, politicians, all of that. So you see engineers really working with other professionals. And where engineers have the ability, I guess, to make a difference is that we can use these mathematical and scientific and engineering skills that we have to improve the design performance of just about everything that you're familiar with. And that's right through from, you'll see in the slide there, from cybersecurity through to clean water, through to delivery of medicines, all of that sort of thing, which is really topical currently. So what do graduate engineers, the sorts of jobs and types of industry, what is it that they, sorts of jobs that they actually do? And there does seem to be lots of, I guess, misunderstanding and maybe miscommunication about what it is that engineers actually do. So the sorts of jobs you'll see in the screen there, and the industries that graduates go into, things like how machines communicate with each other, how the personal interface then of that as well. Obviously health technologies are really, really topical at the moment. There's the automotive sector, there's the driverless cars, the digital and creative, research and education. I'll talk a bit about that later as well. With the aerospace sector, really important here within Northern Ireland. The agri sector, again, really important within Northern Ireland and regionally and nationally, and in fact internationally now as well. Materials handling, got some really significant companies here within Northern Ireland, within the Republic of Ireland and elsewhere in the UK that are really focused on these areas as well. Advanced composites, a core research strength here within the school. Advanced manufacturing, medical devices, well that's our own Professor Jim McLaughlin, the head of school on the picture there. So medical device school is really, really strong in that area, and of course design and consultancy as well. So lots of areas. It's a very broad subject area, engineering in general, and mechanical and electrical engineering, which are our two major strengths here, obviously are very broad topic areas as well. So for graduates from our school, you would be not just graduating with a top class engineering degree, but you have all these opportunities to develop the soft skills and the employability skills that employers understand are so important, and young people now coming through understand these are really important as well. And the school is very good and has particular strength in encouraging students to I suppose grasp those opportunities for developing themselves as they go through their degree program. So our graduate prospects here are really, really strong. Our graduates are in high demand locally and globally, and you'll see down here in the right hand part of the screen, 90% of our graduates are employed within 6 months of graduating. So that is really impressive, and students do invest a lot of time and money in studying for a degree and reading for a degree, and we obviously are very, very proud of our graduates then being able to capitalize on that training and get those best jobs then. And again, the salaries are pretty good there as well, 26,000 typically here within Northern Ireland. So the school is, makes it an important part of its business, its core business here in developing this world-class support from the school. We do that by having guest lectures and informal industrial panels. So not only would you be taught here by the regular lecturers here in the school, but you would have from time to time then guest lectures from leading industrialists here within the region. Students have all the opportunities then, or students within our school would have all the opportunities for linking in with other university initiatives for students to develop their potential, such as the tutoring in schools, the science shop, the Edge Award, all of that. And as a school, we're very, and as a subject team, we're very supportive of students getting involved in all of that. And we know that that contributes so much then to the students' development of self then. And obviously there's a third year of every degree, whether you're doing a master's degree or an MEng degree or a BEng degree or BSc. The third degree of all of, or the third year of all of those is the year out on placement. I'll talk a bit about that in just a moment. But that means that when you study for a placement degree in our university and in our school, then you would graduate and have a diploma in professional practice when you graduated there as well. So it recognises your development and your contribution and your achievement, if you like, during that year in industry as well. So on the screen there, you'll see some logos of companies that we have worked with, we continue to work with, and that we have worked with in the past. So these are companies typically that would take students on our placement, from us on placement, or where our graduates then would go for graduate employment. And I guess depending on where you're listening in from, you'll be familiar with some of those companies. High Street Yale, for example, Craigavon, the Royal Navy there, you've got Magellan, Rolls-Royce, Andor, Moy Park, Caterpillar, Ryobi, depending on where you're listening in from. And you see some of the big medical device companies there as well, Thales, GE, Terex, So we've worked with all of these in the past, and we really pride ourselves as a school in having really strong industrial links. We work at that, and employers really work with us because they know that they get good graduates from us as well. So it's a sort of a symbiotic relationship for all of us. This is just an example. You saw the video earlier there in the presentation, you know, what our school was like during January and February of this year. You'll see there, that's just a still from one of the days where we had industrialists in who were doing a speed dating seminar, if you like, with our final year students. So we had MN students and BN students there. That's just a snapshot of one of the industrialists. And again, the feedback from that was really strong, both from the industrialists and from the students as well. And that was organised then in conjunction with our employability and careers people, who obviously are university-wide department, but who are with a key person there who works with engineering to put on and to develop these sorts of skills. And again, that's just one of our I suppose how we advertise that to our students and how we advertise that to our employers then as well. So you see that for this is just an example here for, we had 10 global NI firms with over 70 students. That's just an example of some of the big employers here that work with us. So you'll see First Derivatives down there in Newry. That's the first time we've had them in the department come down. We've Sensata Technologies, who have supported us and continue to support us for a long time. Randox obviously as well, Combi Lift, Catalyst Inc., Bombardier, Ryobi, Andor. So you'll see that we really do work with these companies to provide those companies with the sorts of employability skills that they want in the engineering graduates, and obviously they support us in helping us deliver our programs then as well. So we like to think that students who have studied with us are really able to hit the ground running and are, if we like, often ready for the workplace and for getting those best jobs then. So in this section, I want to tell you a little bit about us and the sorts of programs that we have on offer then within the school. And you'll see there that we have a broad range of engineering programs at MEng and BEng level. Now, many of you will be familiar with what the difference in those programs are, but if I may say that the MEng programs here are accredited by the Institution of Mechanical Engineers. You see it down the bottom of your screen here, Institution of Mechanical Engineers and the Institution of Engineering and Technology. So if you have an accredited MEng program from us, then you don't have any further academic qualifications to take in order to become a chartered engineer. If you're taking a BEng, our programs again are accredited for partial CEng status, so in line with all other accredited programs at that level, you'd have some further study to take in order to become a chartered engineer. So the BEng programs and the BSc program here are 4 years in length, first 2 years in the university, third year in placement and fourth year then at honours level. The MEng program is a 5-year program. So the first 2 years taught in common with the BEng students, again, third year in placement. And then if you're on the MEng program, you have 2 further levels, a penultimate year at honours level, and then your final year then at master's level. So I think one of the other areas, I guess, that makes us unique is that a student who joins us on a BEng program has the opportunity to transfer to an MEng program, providing they meet the academic threshold criteria, which is currently achieving 60% of the year 2 average. And again, lots of students will do that. And we ask you to make your mind up at the end of placement year. You know, it's not for everybody. Studying at MEng level is not for everybody, but for a student who wants to graduate with an MEng and has the academic ability to do that, then those students have the opportunity to come onto our programs at BEng level, do placement, transfer up and graduate from us with an MEng degree. And that we've a tried and tested system for that, and that works really well. So our BEng and MEng programs then, biomedical engineering, electronic engineering, engineering management, mechanical engineering, mechatronics, and then we have our BSc technology with design program, which really straddles both the electrical side and the mechanical side of the school. Really a hybrid program there, where students study the technology programs with us and then study the design modules with the School of Art and Design on the Belfast campus. And you'll see there the star here identifying those programs then that have the opportunity for students to go to Germany and graduate with a German Masters in Mechatronics Engineering. So again, if you have any questions on that, I can follow up on that. So I guess what I would want to say to anybody who is interested is these courses here, if you have specific questions of those, we were always happy to answer those as a school. But in essence, the biomedical engineering, electronic engineering, engineering management, mechanical engineering, mechatronics, they all tend to have specific modules that are associated with those particular disciplines, but then things like the engineering mathematics or programming or the mechanical science, those sorts of things tend to straddle one or more disciplines. So us as a school then, so I've told you there the number and the breadth of courses that we offer then as a school. So to give you a little bit about what we are then as a school, we're a large school. We've over 900 students. We've really world-leading research and innovation strength, and we are very focused on helping the region and the nation as a whole, I guess, to achieve its full potential. So we graduate every year over 250 undergraduate students. So that's a very significant number of engineering graduates that we produce, and about 10 PhDs every year. So every student that leaves us, the vast majority of them, will have this industrial placement year, and we are fully accredited then by the IET and the IMechE. So what sets us apart? Well, everybody will have their own view in that. We feel that as our staff and students are different to what you might get elsewhere. We really do consider students as our partners in the development of the learning materials, and that works really, really well. And we, I suppose, foster those relationships with students right through from first, second placement through to final year and so on as well. So we really work at that, and we feel that we make a real difference then both to the lives of our students and obviously for our staff there as well. Our teaching excellence, I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Those close industry links that we have then, we'll talk about that as well, and we have some truly world-leading research as well. And that underpins then our teaching. So university life is, the course is obviously really, really important, but the experience that you get when you are a student is really, is fundamental. And all of what we would hope as lecturers is the students who come to us for their undergraduate program will really have a transformational experience when they're with us, and will make friends that will stay with them going forward. As they start the professional or their job to a professional registration. So we are the longest and the largest established engineering school in the university. And we've been running engineering degrees both in mechanical and electronic engineering for almost 50 years. And we're delighted to be able to transfer all of that knowledge and skills and tradition through to our landmark, or the new campus in Belfast City Centre, which we're hoping will be in 2021, when I understand it's year 13 students that we're speaking to today. So for you people, you'll be starting in a new state-of-the-art campus right in Belfast City Centre, which is, as I'm sure many of you know, in the Cathedral Quarter of Belfast, which is really the social and the artistic hub of the city for many. So the things that that make us significant, and I guess stand out from elsewhere, is we have these Masters in Engineering programs for those students that are really academically gifted. We're the only program, or the only school, who's offering the mechatronics degree and the biomedical degree in Northern Ireland. We have this unique German Masters, and we've nurtured that and developed that over this past 20 years and graduated lots of students, many of whom are working in Europe right now, and others that are at home. We're one of the few schools, and this is something that we achieved last year. We're one of the few engineering schools in the UK that have the Silver Athena Swan Charter Award. So really delighted about that. Very few engineering schools have that. and ours is one of them. It's really just to recognise the strides and the achievements really that the school has made in order to achieve gender equality within the school, and that's something that we're really proud of. We have a very impressive research funding record, and we have a really vibrant student society that no doubt if you come to study with us at Ulster that you'll meet and get involved in, and that adds a lot to the student experience as well. And that slide, yeah, so the next slide is just really showing what I've already mentioned to you here. We're going to be moving to the Greater Belfast building in 2020, and we'll be bringing all of the, whilst that is a new city centre location and so on, we'll be bringing all of the equipment and the expertise and the skills and so on that we currently have to that new site. And we're delighted and really excited about that as well. This slide is just really showing you the link with the German Masters. You'll see on the right hand side of the screen here, this are some of the lecturers that are our colleagues in Germany. The two German institutions that we're linked with here is if you're doing mechatronics engineering, you primarily will be based here in the University of Applied Sciences in Augsburg. If you're doing mechanical engineering, again, you'll be based here. If you're doing electrical engineering, you have the opportunity to go to Kempten or Augsburg, although it's really a student choice. So if electrical engineering, MA in electronic engineering, you have the chance to go to Kempten or Augsburg. If you're mechatronics or mechanical engineering, you tend to go to Augsburg. So both of these are in the Bavarian part of Germany. And we know the lecturers there, the lecturers know us. That's a tried and tested collaborative partnership link that has been, as I said earlier, they're really on the go for about 20 years. And on the right hand side here, this is just graduation day, which is a fantastic day for everybody. That was the class of 2019. You'll see here the course director for the mechatronics and electronics program here, Bob McMurray here in Jordanstown. And you'll see in his here, this is Peter Kopaskinski, one of the main lecturers there. And then the link person really that looks after our students here in Augsburg. So it's really just nice, I guess, to put a picture behind some of the information that you'll see. So I mentioned earlier there about our research excellence. We have a number of advanced research masters here. The composites and polymers, these just really mirror our research strengths. So the composites and polymers is a research strength that we have. Obviously biomedical engineering research strength as well. Manufacturing management may be more suitable for the professional development of engineers as they tend to move into managerial roles. And then with the new program here, the MSc in mechanical engineering, maybe for those students who have done a different degree but want to now to major in on the mechanical engineering aspects. And we have a building which is shared then with Queen's and with Bombardier and a few other employers here called the NIAS building. It's the Advanced Composites and Engineering building, and there's some really exceptional and world-leading research that's happening down there. And I should just point out here that in the last ref, we were in the top 20 in engineering materials and electronics engineering. And there's about 100 researchers there based in the school with over 50 PhD students. So that is really quite something. So we, as a school, again, we host the engineering, the Women in Engineering Academic Hub, and the only university in Northern Ireland to do that. And you see on the left-hand side here, this is a picture that was taken of one of our last away days. And you see here, this is just really an example of the female staff that are in our school. We obviously include some of the male staff here as well, our head of school, our research director, and our previous associate head of school there as well. Again, so this just really gives you an idea of I suppose just the number of women that are actually working within the school at research level, academic level, and in the professional and support staff as well. So again, these are our this was us just really following this trend. If she can see it, she can be it. And it's really just to demonstrate the opportunities that exist for everybody, not just for women, but for everybody within the engineering discipline, and the way that we were successful with our silver award application, and something that we're exceptionally proud of there in the school. So the team now in our school, we are truly an international school. You'll see on your screen just the international base that we have within our staff. So we have teaching partnerships worldwide, and global research partnerships worldwide. And then this is just a schematic here where showing where our staff in the school, where their home countries are. But we like to think that all of them now, that we really are integrated into a whole School of Engineering team. So teaching excellence. You'll see an example here of 3 lecturers in our school. This is Elena Mancuso, teaches on our biomaterials modules. This is Eddie Archer here, who teaches on our composite materials section. And this is Colin Turner, who teaches our engineering maths, and Colin, well, 3 excellent teachers in their own right, with Colin having recently been awarded a National Teaching Fellowship. So where his contribution and abilities and achievements and so on have been recognised at national level. So we're, we say that we are really focused on our teaching, and that teaching excellence is really important, and we have the evidence really to back that up then as well. So just really to give you a feel for when we talk about teaching excellence, what that means and how significant that is, I guess, for us as a School of Engineering. So you'll see here electronic engineering as a discipline here within our school, within the university, where there are 72 universities that offer that within the UK, and we're ranked 9th out of 72. So that is really, really, really good, and we're working to obviously to improve that. Biomedical engineering then in the top 10 in the UK, and we're top in Northern Ireland for electronic and mechanical engineering there as well. So those figures there are based on the Guardian League tables in 2019 and the Complete University Guide in 2019 as well. So you'll see on the right hand side here, we really do, when we say we have a multidisciplinary team to support you in your studies, we really do have that. And on the right hand side there, you see just some of the societies and so on, the learned societies that our staff would be members of. So you have the Royal Academy of Engineering, the Irish Academy of Engineering, IET, the IMechE, Mining Materials and Manufacturing, Institute of Designers, Institute of Physics, Royal Society of Chemistry, Institution of Mathematics, etc., maths and its applications, etc., etc. So it really gives you a feel for where, the backgrounds of the staff that would be delivering the materials to you then, should you decide to come to us as a student. Our approach to teaching, obviously, we're offering accredited programs, so we're constrained by the subject topics that we are delivering, but we deliver those in a way that helps students, where we provide the theoretical basis, but also we develop those practical skills and the application, develop those application sites that we know employers really need, and that we know that engages and motivates students and helps bring the theory to life, if you like. So it's research informed. We are, where we like to think we're creative and innovative, and that has to develop, of course, as time changes. And gosh, this past 3 or 4 weeks as we've moved to online delivery has been, the pace of this has just been, unprecedented and unbelievable, really. We do feel that we prepare students for the workplace. So it's not a training program, but we are very focused, and because we work so closely with employers, we know what it is that our employers are looking for, and we feel that we give students every opportunity to develop those professional and practical skills that employers really have identified as being important. So the vast majority, as we had earlier on there, over 90% of students are going straight into the workplace at graduate level entry engineering jobs, but some of those will go on to study PhD or MSc programs or whatever as well. So we've low staff student numbers in laboratories and practical work. So although our lectures would be very large, and if you're a student in our university, you'll be in large lectures and you get the chance to meet lots of other different, lots of other students. There's a big university and it's a big school, but in the laboratory and practical work, you get the chance to work in very small numbers. So your practical lab classes would be about 15 to 20 students, and your immediate lab group would be about 4 or 5. And likewise then in the laboratories, up to about, you have a subgroup of students that you move around with from one lab to another, depending on the modules that you're taking and so on. Our staff, as I said earlier there, our staff do work with students, and we consider students our collaborators really in their learning. And we do work very closely with students. We're proactive, and we're also reactive there to what students are looking for as well. And we have, despite us moving then to our city centre location, we have invested significantly in recent years in our lab space. And we recognise that's important. Those maker spaces are really important. So it's just on the screen here, example of some of the student projects that students have been involved with in the past. And we've been really successful. There's two of our past students here, Gareth Robinson and Gavin Corey, both won the Siemens PLM Prize for a student design project. So as staff, we're very focused on opportunities for students to, I guess, compete at national level and to win at national level as well. And we had some students here, you'll see in this part of the screen here, where we, all our year 1 students are involved in the Engineers Without Borders UK national competition. And we had 2 teams got through to last year's final, with one getting right to the very end point. Didn't win the prize, but it wasn't far from it. So with the staff, that takes a lot of time and effort to make happen. And we put that time and effort in. And again had the success as well. So we mentioned, you'll hear it all the time about being able to work in a team and how important that is. And again, in engineering, it is really important. It comes very naturally to some people and others less so. But what we can say is that in our school, in the School of Engineering, students get lots of opportunities to work well in teams, and they get lots of opportunities to see what, how to improve working in teams. So on the slide there, you can see some examples of, this is actually by the Engineers Without Borders project that we ran last year. We're running it again this year. So we had the fastest boat competition to get the whole thing kicked off. These are some examples of what students made, just really a fun activity, competitive as well. But it really involves students, getting out of their comfort zone in a supported way. Lots of students dread that. Lots of students love it. So by the end of the day, I guess what we can say is that every student has survived it, enjoyed it, and lives to tell the tale of it, if you like. And on the right hand side here, we make it competitive because we give a few prizes then within the school. So again, we recognise achievement, and we encourage students to give of their best and to continually develop their own abilities in those areas in a fun way as well. So the academic support is for each student then. So we have a school office that's right at the heart of everything that we do. We have an advisor of studies system. So every student will, if you're a first year student, you will have a tutor that's specifically assigned to you. If you're joining us as a second year student or beyond, then you'll have a particular advisor of studies, and you'll meet that student once per semester. If you're a year 1 student, you'll meet your studies advisor every week. We have a tutorial system here. So you'll have a large lectures, and then you'll have smaller tutorials where you'll have you'll have tried the particular problems, tried to come to some sort of solution, and then you get some help and support to, I guess, direct you and to guide you to try and, I suppose, show you where your own mistakes are, if you like. So that's what that tutorial system is for. So you typically in a lecture series, you'll have the lecture, and then you have a series of homeworks to do from that, and then you try them yourselves, and then you come to the tutorial session with whatever, having identified what your problems are, and then the tutorial system is really there to help students solve their own problems. So studying at university is maybe a bit different from studying at school, where where your teacher solves your problems for you. University is about giving you the tools and the helping you develop those skills to let you find out where you go to find your own answers, if that makes sense to you. So students' learning is again is central to what we do. We are a very student-centred school, and staff really are always available for student support and guidance. And we know our students here. Our students know us. They know that they can rely on us and that we're there. But you know, we give students the tools and the self-confidence, I guess, to solve their own problems, and that works well. So we have a series of scholarships and prizes then that the school links into. So we have industrial prizes, primarily from Schrader currently, who support our students who achieve academic excellence in the first and second year. And then there are some employers again that sponsor final year projects or sponsor team projects on an annual basis. Because we are offering courses that are accredited then by the IET and the IMechE, students on those programs can apply for any of the student competitions and awards that are run on an annual basis. And the school has a unique McColgan scholarship then, again, that applies to specific programs here, the biomedical program, electronic, mechanical and mechatronic, and that's run within, administered within the school. And we obviously link in it from a faculty perspective. The faculty obviously very keen to reward academic excellence, and the school links in with that as well. So this is just really about what you see there on the screen is recognising achievement on an individual basis and group basis as well. So these are just Twitter feeds of past of students of ours that have achieved something really significant, and how we celebrate and join in recognising that. So this is one of our current second year students right now. Again, this is, Elena is one of our lecturers here. Mark, again, one of our lecturers, was one of our PhD students, one of our biomedical engineering students, and then this here was from the Engineers Without Borders competition last year. So this, I suppose, just about recognising what our students are doing really well. It gives you as a listener here an idea just of the vibrancy of our school, the things that we're doing, the breadth that we're offering, and the I suppose the lengths that staff go to make sure that students' achievement is recognised, and where we celebrate that success as well. So this is just an example here of what we did last year. So any student coming to us then on day one, Professor Jim McLaughlin then, our head of school, gave that welcome, and you have the chance then to meet your course director team, your academic team. Our NGen here, then this is our student-led society. They organised the induction event for us, and they really focus, I guess, on what young people are looking for when they come to university, that mixture of fun and camaraderie and belonging and all of that goes with how students feel when they come to us on day one. So they had some examples here with motocross, some VR, some robotics, campus tours, orientation, library, all of that sort of thing. And we finished that off then with some very nice pizza actually as well. So I mentioned earlier there that we have an award-winning student society. So again, it just really gives you an idea of the vibrancy of the school. The school supports this, but this is really run by the students, for the students, with some targeted, sometimes monetary support, or sometimes technical support, or you know, things that staff can do to space support, for example, where we can help the student society achieve some of its main ambitions. So we had the Best New Society Award in 2018, so some recognition at national level, and it's linked in obviously with the Students' Union, and the Students' Union and ourselves have really been working really hard this past 3 or 4 years to make sure that this student society is really celebrated, and the success of that is recognised as well. This really culminates most years here with a society formal dinner and some charity fundraising, and you know, it's I suppose a recognition of that university life is very much about It's about having fun. It is it's demanding and hard work and so on as well, but it is primarily focused on achievement and what you do with your time when you're here. So we link in with the national, I suppose the national initiatives where we try to promote engineering as a good, worthwhile career for everybody. And we support our students who want to get involved in those initiatives as well. So you'll see on the right hand side here, we have the likes of the primary engineer, the synchronous R&D programs, we have the Erasmus programs with local schools, and so on. So there's lots of activities. I'm really trying to give you a picture here of a vibrant school, a school that is really on theme and on trend. And you'll see down here, this is our technical planning manager here, who is involved in lots of fundraising activities. And it's just really, I suppose, a recognition of us and our links with the community here as well.
Hey folks, Margaret, thanks very much for that. We're going to keep you on for another couple of minutes, and that was a very comprehensive view of all the courses, research activities, societies, and all the benefits that you could have if you decide to study engineering at Jordanstown, Belfast, of course, when we move in to the Belfast development. Very quickly, just having a look through some questions, Margaret, that have come through there, and more specifically with regards to placement and the importance of placement, and how does the university support placement, and can somebody organise their own placement opportunity?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Again, lots of students are interested in this. In our school, yes, students can organise their own placement is the answer to that, but we tend to vet that place, or vet is the wrong word, but we want to make sure that the student is getting the right experience. So we have a number of learning objectives and learning outcomes that are associated with the project module, with the placement module. And we want to make sure that the student if the student organises their own placement, that experience then will provide the student with the correct developmental experience. So yes, we can absolutely do that, but we like to link in with whichever employer is actually offering the placement to make sure that it's at the level that what we would want for our students.
Okay, and in terms of the engineering society, how important would you say it would be to participate and to join the society with regards to your studies and your skills development?
Well, not every student joins the student society. Lots of them do, but not every student does. Some students really link into it, and it's really good for their CV. But there are only a number of specific positions. You know, there's, for example, one secretary or one president or whatever. So not everybody can have a position of responsibility. If you can, obviously that helps, because it means that you're not just good academically, but that you're community minded as well, and that you're prepared to put your own time and energy into developing opportunities for others to learn. So it, from that perspective, it demonstrates that you are, I suppose, interested in your own professional development. But lots of students will go to the nights out and that sort of thing, but not everybody wants to get involved in actually the organising of those events.
Okay, that's great. We've got two questions in here in the Q&A chat area. One which I'm not sure about, I might need clarification, is there consideration given during application if I already have an engineering scholarship? We would probably need to have more detail on what that scholarship is. So the questions from an anonymous attendee. So if you can provide more information, we might be able to answer. The second one there is, in terms of A-level subjects, is there any options, for example, foundation year, if you don't have Maths A-level, but perhaps have other STEM subjects, I suppose, as a part of your entry requirements?
Yes, well, that's again a really good question. We don't specify that you have to have A-level Maths. So if you look at the prospectus, you'll see that you can join these engineering courses at the BEng level or the BSc in technology with design, not necessarily having A-level Maths. Again, you look at your specific subjects that you're offering. If that is any of the physical sciences, the likes of chemistry or physics, then you don't have to have A-level maths. And some A-level students would be offering technology with design, for example, without A-level maths. And again, that's suitable for lots of those BEng programs. So you don't have to have A-level maths in order to come to do our engineering programs here in our school.
Okay, and one other question here, just as we wait to see if there's a follow-up to that scholarship one, is the gender split within the School of Engineering, and how that's important in terms of getting more females into engineering.
Sorry, I didn't hear the start of that question.
Sorry, the gender sort of breakdown of females to males ratio.
All right, okay.
Is that important? Is it important that more females consider engineering as a career and as a course as well?
Well, we consider it really important. Employers consider it really important, and the government considers it really important as well. And over the number of years, there have been lots of initiatives to try and improve the attractiveness, I guess, of engineering programs for women. The facts are really that women engineers do as well in the workplace as every bit as well as any of the males. So there should be no difference, but we of course recognise that there aren't enough females that are doing and choosing engineering programs. The Athena Swan Silver Award is really recognition for what the school has done in order to, first of all, use data to support the decisions that it takes. We've looked at, for example, do our female students do as well in their degrees as the male students? Do the application process? Do we reject more females and reject males? All of that, and we didn't, the data that went forward from our Athena Swan submission was in recognition of the steps that the school has taken to make sure that that our programs are equally attractive to both males and females, and in fact people who don't identify as either. So we want our programs to be completely inclusive and attractive to all. And the Silver Award really was the rubber stamp in recognising that we're doing that really successfully. So I mean, the biomedical engineering programme, last year's first years was the first year where we effectively had gender parity between males and females. We tend not to have that in the other programs. The technology with the design is about 30% female. Right. And the mechanical engineering, electronic engineering, engineering management, less so. And again, as a school, we have an action plan in place where we're going to be looking at why that is the case. It's the case nationally now, to be fair, but we want to do everything we can as a school to try and, I mean, there's no reason at all why it shouldn't be 50-50. It should be representative of the general population. So why is that different? And I've always considered, other professions have done it. If you look at medicine, they've achieved that. If you look at accountancy, you look at law, engineering still has a way to go, but there are lots of initiatives that are currently ongoing where we are really trying to tackle that. And of course, it means that those students coming forward, they have to apply for the courses first. So we need female students to apply for those courses. We know that they are not disadvantaged in any way through the application process, but we need them to apply for it. And we need those students to be doing those sorts of STEM subjects at schools.
Yeah, I think, as you say there, I think we're starting to see the result of that whole STEM promotion at schools over the last 10 years as well. Okay, a couple of questions, last two questions, because I know we've actually run over here on our webinar. We have to be mindful that there's other webinars taking place as well. So for those without A-level maths, do we run a summer school to help students hit the ground running when they start?
Yeah, again, that's a good question. We don't currently do that, but for those that don't have A-level maths, and lots of students who come to us don't have A-level maths, and they do engineering mathematics as a module in year one, in semester one, the evidence from that shows that the students can quickly get up to speed, but that they have to work intensively at that maths in semester one. But it can be done, and it's very doable, and we have a track record of achievement in that area. So we don't have students who a higher number than we would expect fail that module. So we are really happy that we can achieve the level of maths that we need at the end of year one without doing that bridging class. And I mean, our approach to maths is not maths for the sake of maths, it's maths to solve the engineering problems. So we use and we weave that through all of our other modules as well.
Okay, and just revisiting the previous question on the scholarship. The attendee has come back to say it's the Arkwright Engineering Scholarship that he or she achieved at the end of last year as they started their year 13 at school. They had to complete an aptitude test, and an interview where they had to showcase a project they made during their GCS year. I don't know a huge amount about that, Margaret, but do you?
I don't either, but it would certainly be very impressive to read in any personal statement, for sure.
Super. It's something I'll follow up on. If you want to provide me with an email address on the chat, there, you do that privately to the host or the panelists, and we'll follow up to see if there's any benefit to having that. Last question, Margaret, before finishing. I think it's something you've answered already. Of course, it's the all-important question. Why would somebody choose engineering or courses within engineering at Ulster over Queen's, for example?
Oh, right, okay. Well, I guess I can't tell you why you would choose it over Queen's, but what I can say is what's really good about our programs. You know, I've used I suppose that presentation, I guess, to highlight what is vibrant and different about our school. So I could never say to a student, you know, don't choose, or what I can say is choose us over someone else, but I couldn't say what someone else is offering is not as good as ours, if you know what I mean. That really, I think, would be a personal choice. But I think what's really good about our school is that you're going to have, you know, 42 academic staff that are focused on students. We come from an international background. We are, you know, physicists, chemists, mechanical engineers, electronic engineers working as a team. We are you know, we're a big school, so you have a chance to, I suppose, study in Belfast and study in a school that has, you know, a critical mass that is really focused on you achieving your full potential. If that makes sense.
Fantastic. Yeah, great answer. Okay, thanks very much, Margaret, for taking us through today's webinar. Folks, just before we finish off, you can see the slide there. It highlights all the other webinars that are coming up over the next couple of weeks. You'll find that on ulster.ac.uk/events, if I can get my slide on here. You can always get in touch with us at Ulster University, whether it be our admissions department, via telephone or via email. You can contact members of my team, for example, if you're inquiring about courses at study@ulster.ac.uk. Another very good platform is our current students are on UniBuddy, and that enables you to touch base with students throughout the full range of our courses, and that helps you connect with them and ask them why they chose Ulster, and what their courses like, what the staff are like, what the facilities are like, and how they're enjoying their time at university, and what makes us the #1 university in Northern Ireland for student experience. And that's a very good way to start your research on all of our courses. There's Margaret's email address, telephone number. I'm sure she'll welcome any email inquiries between now and September, hopefully when you're making your application through UCAS to the university. That brings us to the end of our webinar. I suppose all that's left to say is, again, thanks to Margaret for taking us through the webinar, and of course you guys to stay at home, to stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you all at Ulster University in 2020.